What's happening, Gladiator gang? You tuned in to another episode of Off the Yard, man. I'm Big Lance. Glad you're here. Much love to all of y'all. Hope everyone's feeling blessed. Excuse this setup right now. My little studio is kind of under renovation, man. So hopefully I get done soon. Now, the video I want to do today is, I think, one of the most important videos we should do as far as doing this prison genre thing, right? And that is the introduction to the quote-unquote Gladiator School. Now, what Gladiator School is in terms of definition, for where I'm from, is that a lot of the younger generation goes into certain prisons. When I was young, it was Southampton. Now, I went to a place called Beaumont as a juvenile, and that place was crazy. Now, Southampton was like the step up. So this was like after you got out of juvie and maybe you had to go to adult prison from there, or if you committed another crime, and as a juvenile, 18 to like 24-ish, that's when they would send you to these places. So Southampton was one of those places where it was buck all the time, buck, fights every 5 minutes, lockdowns every 5 minutes, come out of lockdown fighting again. There was a receiving that was at Southampton. And y'all know what receiving is. That's where they send you to get your diagnosis check. You're there for like 30 days. And basically most of those places you're locked down, which this was that type of place. So they had A, B, and C wing. I was on B wing. It was for like more violent offenders. I had a violent crime. This is where I was really introduced to cell drama, cell beef. You might get put in a cell with somebody that you just cannot stand. You just despise. You hate you looking at them. You hate the way they chew their food. You hate the way they brush their teeth. You hate the way they comb their hair. Whatever it is, you're going to get eventually stuck with somebody that you dislike as a cellmate. And they're not too choosy as of like who they put in there. You're just a number. You're not a name, a personality. You're not a pronoun or whatever it is these days these kids think they are. You're getting put in a cell, and you might get in there with Bubba. And you might be a scared-ass 18-year-old, frail body, 140-pound nobody. And you walk in there, and here's here's somebody crazy looking. This is a story about one of those times. So there was this dude in B wing, man. They called him Doodoo. He was doing 25 years. He was like 21 years old. He's big, cock strong black kid, right? Hated white people. At this time, there wasn't a lot of gangs back in the 90s and early 2000s. But what we did have was these guys called 5%ers. And these 5%ers call themselves the 5% of Islam. I'm not going to speak too much on it because I don't know a lot on it. And I don't want to, talk about something that I don't understand or don't know much about. It's not my place to know about it. But what I do know is they spoke in like a lot of parables and a lot of numbers. They call white people the devil. That is like Malcolm X all the time. It was crazy, bro. Well, Doodoo was a 5%er. And I never forget, I seen the new guys coming down the hallway. And it was this little white dude in the back with like some crazy hair and like zits all over his face, like just coming down with his little tote, right? And I was like, I told my cellie, I said, they gonna put him in there with Doodoo. I know they are, because Doodoo's cell was open. Next thing you hear, pop 23. And man, I wish I could have been a fly on the wall to see that little kid's face when he walked into that cell and saw who he was selling with. Sometimes it'd be late at night. And nighttime in prison is either one or two things. It's either extremely loud or it's deathly quiet. Those are the hardest times, is when there's no noise. There's no talking. There's no distraction from what and where you really are. I'm sitting there one night. I'm trying to fight the silence, is what I used to call it. I want to fight the silence. Silence used to kill me. I'm reading a book. I start to hear like some mufflements. I'm listening. I'm hearing dude like, oh, you mother. What the F? You stupid white motherfucker. The little white dude that was so scared, right, to pee in the toilet and wake this dude up. And he had brought cups back, little styrofoam cups. And he was pissing into these cups at night and putting them on the back of his bunk. And he would dump them in the morning. Listen, don't ever do that, okay? Don't do that. I've seen a lot of guys do that. And it's just any celly you have, they have to understand, okay? But this kid was green. And what we usually do, honestly, at nighttime, if you get up to piss, you won't flush. What you do is you piss and you have a piece of cardboard or a sheet, something, or an old shirt, you put it over the toilet. Hey, man, we'll flush it in the morning. You don't want to wake your celly up. It's respect. Prison is all about respect. Respect me, I'm going to respect you. Fuck with me, and I'm going to hurt you. Period, point blank. Well, the kid had pissed in the cup, stuck it back there, tuck and rolled and went back to sleep. I guess he rolled the wrong way or his head hit it or whatever, but the cup spilled over the back of the top bunk and hit doo-doo square in the face. And I wish I could have seen, just been there to see that the minute that sparked off, to see Doodoo's face and the terrified look on the young kid's face when that bitch jumped up off that top bunk, grabbed him, pulled him off. You can hear this. Grabbed him off the top bunk, pulled him off, and just commenced to beating him. And let me explain something to you. When I tried to explain how large this man was, I'm 240 pounds. This dude, every bit, had to be 260, 280. Hands like freaking cinder blocks, just whacking this other little. I mean, this kid was small. Small. I take shits bigger than this kid, right? So dude's on top of him. Why? He's just hitting him. Why? Why? And the kid's screaming. He screams for about 3 or 4 of them, right? After about 3 or 4 of them, he stopped screaming. And all you heard was flesh meeting bone, flesh meeting flesh, flesh cracking bone, head smacking cement. Ain't no COs in there. He beat this boy for every bit of 2.5, 3 minutes. This is where the funny shit turns into sad. He beat him and beat him. His head was smacking off of that cement so bad. They come finally, pop the doors, they spray him, they grab Doodoo. Doodoo screaming. I guess 25 years just finally settled into his mind that this is what it's going to be till he's an older guy, till he's in his 40s. And he snapped. A lot of young dudes, when the realization comes that you're in prison for 20, 30, 40, 90 life sentence years, it'll make a lot of them snap. I've been locked up with dudes that's never even been laid. Never been with a woman. 40 years old, never been with a woman. All he knows is prison. Try to grasp your mind around that. Try to grasp your thought process around being the age that you are now as a man. Never been with a woman. I can't do it, man. I cannot imagine that. When they pulled this young boy out of the cell, they had to get a gurney and they go bring him out. I ran to the window. You know, we have a little window. Me and my celly, I'm up here. My celly's head's right here. We see him pull him out, his face, his poor face. It looked like the Toxic Avenger. If anybody's ever seen that movie, The Toxic Avenger, it looked like him. His eye was beat out of his head. It's like hanging out the side of his head. His eyeball. Eye socket was just demolished. His ear was just mangled. And it wasn't just blood, but like matter was leaking out of it. His fucking brains were hanging out of his ears. when you're in that situation and you're locked in a cage, imagine two lions being locked in a cage. Eventually, those two lions are going to go at it. And it's not always David and Goliath in that cell. Sometimes you got an equal match. And when you got an equal match, you get to bumping in there for real, it's bad. And there's nothing but steel in there. And me, myself, I'm going to try to make you touch every wall in that bitch. Gladiator school. That's what it's about. Who's going to be Russell Crowe? Who's going to be the gladiator and who's going to be the beta? Unfortunately, that's the law of the jungle. Prison is where that resides. The pecking order continues to thrive in the Department of Corrections. Out here in the world, these weak-minded and weak people have a voice. The internet, they can cancel you, or they fly their flag, whatever they want to do. Say whatever they want to say. I work with a guy sometimes who says what he wants to say. And just sometimes I want to just bash his face off. But I can't do that, can I? I'm trying to relate this thought process to this world that we live in now, the society that I have to thrive in as a man. It's hard. It's been hard. It's a challenge every single day. You think you are challenged, so am I. The respect out here is null and void. People know how to say, excuse me. People know how to say, I'm sorry. It doesn't even compute. Everyone's so busy looking down. They don't see what's in front of them. You take all that distraction away. You take all this stuff away. What do you got left? You got your pride. You got your manhood. Things that we had to stand on in the Department of Corrections. We don't have those luxuries. We can't run and hide from a situation. When they put you in that cell, it's gladiator time. It's go time. But the one thing about it that I can relate out here, and this is why the new name for my subscribers is Gladiator Gang, because I know you guys are on a positive mood. I know you guys get up and go to work every day. That shit is gangster to me. Because I've had to do it for the last almost 4 years, and it's been hard, man. Making that transition. Being a criminal my whole life. Being a piece of shit my whole life. Coming out and trying to be a father. Trying to be a husband. Trying to be a working man. I've never respected anything or anybody more in my life than the working man. I never respected anything or anybody so much than the working man. I watch these guys go out and work 12, 15-hour days. I myself work all day long, come home brutally tired and my body beat up and everything hurting. But it's an honest dollar. I got so many of these stories in the vault that I want to share with you, that I'm going to share with you guys. But I'm always going to try to drop some type of jewel at the end. Because maybe something that I went through can help something you're going through now. And if it helps just one person, then it was worth it. To me, it was worth it. That's what it is, man. Welcome to Off the Yard. If it's your first time, make sure you hit the subscribe and make sure y'all hit them likes, run them up. We need them as many as we can get right now. Trying to get to 20K. Let's get the channel up to 20K, man. We've been sitting at this point for a long time. I like to see the channel grow. Still got something in the works. Still got some big surprise, everybody. Some of y'all are guessing. Some of y'all have guessed it. And hit me, in DMs or whatever, man. But I still ain't divulged it. And it's coming, man. It's coming. So Everybody, much love to all y'all, and I hope you're blessed. I hope your life is going just the way you want it to be. And if it's not, then bust your ass and get it to where you want it, man. All right? Until then, until next time, Gladiator Gang, we'll catch you on the flip.